Dear students, now we are going to discuss about leaf. Leaves are green, thin, flattened, lateral outgrowths of the stem. Leaves are the primary photosynthetic organs and the main site for transpiration as well. All the leaves of plants together are referred to as phylum. Then what are the characteristic features of leaf? Leaf is a lateral appendage of stem. It is borne at the node of the stem. It is exogenous in origin. It has limited growth. It does not possess apical buds. It has three main parts, namely leaf base, petiole, and lamina. Lamina of the leaf is traversed by vascular strands called veins. What are the functions of leaf? Like root and stem, it is also having two types of function: primary function, secondary function. Functions of leaf is concerned, there are two types of function: primary functions, secondary function. As far as primary function is concerned, they are photosynthesis, transpiration, gaseous exchange during photosynthesis and respiration, uptake and evaluation of carbon dioxide and oxygen, protection of birds, conduction of water and dissolved solids. So these are the primary functions of leaves. Like root and stem, leaves are also having secondary in function. They are storage in function, like in aloe vera and agave, protective in function in Opuntia, Argemone mexicana, and support in function, Gloriosa superba, Nepenthes. Production, Bryophyllum, Begonia, Zamia are giving a reproductive organ. Now we are going to discuss about various three different parts of leaf in detail. So this is the structure of leaf. The leaf is having three important parts, namely this is petiole. The petiole is based on which part? So this is called leaf base. Then leaf lamina. So this is called leaf lamina. So these are the main parts. So if you see in the leaf, there is a main rachis in the middle. This is called midrib. The midrib having various branches. These are called veins. Veins are having further multiple branches. These are called as veinlets. The plate-like structure is called as the lamina. So this is leaf margin. The leaf margin will be different from different types of leaves. So this is leaf apex. The stalk-like structure which is having this lamina is called as petiole. The petiole is attached to the main branch of plant is called leaf base. Just near to the leaf base, there is a leaf-like structure or a green color part may be arises. These are called as stipule. So this is the main various parts of leaf. Some of the leaves are having a bulgy structure. This is called as pulvinous leaf base, or it is also called as sheathing leaf base. You might have seen the sheathing leaf base in banana plant, Musa. So these are the main parts of leaf. Is having three main parts of typical leaf are leaf base. These are called as hypopody. Petiole, it is called as mesopody, and the lamina, it is called as epipody. First we shall discuss about leaf base. The part of the leaf which is attached to the nodes of the stem is called as leaf base. Usually it protects the growing buds at its axis. Pulvinous. In leguminous plants, the leaf base becomes broad, which is known as pulvines. Example: Clitoria, Labla, Cassia, Butea. Sheathing leaf base. In many monocot families such as Ericaceae, Musaceae, Gingiveraceae and Poaceae, the leaf base extends into a sheath and clasp part or whole of the internode. Such leaf base also leave permanent scars on the stem when they fall. Next part is petiole, S-type or mesopodium. The second part is called petiole. The petiole is nothing but stipe or mesopodium. It is a bridge between the lamina and stem. Petiole or leaf stalk is a cylindrical or subcylindrical or flattened structure of leaf, which joins the lamina with the stem. A leaf with petiole are said to be petiolate. Example: ficus, hibiscus. Leaves that do not possess petiole is called sessile. If you see in Calotropis, Yerku. In Yerku, that means Calotropis, they do not have any stalk-like structure. That means the petiole is absent. Then leaf blade, that is called lamina. The expanded flat green portion of the leaf is blade or lamina. It is a seat of photosynthesis, gaseous exchange, transpiration, and most of the metabolic reactions of the plant. The lamina is transversed by the midrib, from which arise numerous lateral veins and thin veinlets. The lamina shows great variation in its shape, margin, surface, texture. Texture means shining, color, venation. Venation means veins are arised. What are the different types of veins which are present on the leaf? Then incision, that is inserted inside the one part of the leaf into the other part. Then stipule, next part is called stipule. At the leaf base, a leaf or leaf-like structure are present. These are called as stipule. In most of the dicotyledonous plants, the leaf base bears one or two lateral appendages called stipules. Leaves with stipules are called stipulate. The leaves without stipules are called exstipulate or estipulate. Exstipulate or estipulate. The stipules are commonly found in dicotyledons. In some grass, that is monocots, an additional outgrowth is present between leaf base and lamina. It is called ligule. Sometimes small stipule-like outgrowth are found at the base of leaflets of the compound leaf as well. Mostly in compound leaf, there is no stipule at all, but rarely in some of the compound leaf will be having leaflets like stipule. They are called stipules. We cannot call it stipulate or stipules. It is called stipules. The main functions of stipule is to protect the leaf in the bud conditions. Next one is venation. What is venation? The arrangements of veins and veinlets on the leaf are called as venation. So look at the picture. So this is leaf, this is petiole, this is lamina or a leaf blade. So this is main axis, that means midrib. The main vein is called midrib. It is having branches. This is veinlet. See here, it is having multiple veins are there. This is single veins. Here multiple veins are there. Here another type of veins. So these are all arrangements of veins on the leaf will be in different form. It's a very important question. What is the venation of leaf in plants? Basically, In monocot, one type of venation will be there. In dicot, another type of venation will be there. See, look at the picture. These are called reticulate venation. What do you mean by reticulate venation? The veins are arranged very scatteredly. On the other hand, if you see in monocot, it is in dicot. The reticulate venation is very common in dicot stem. But if you see in monocot stem, the veins are arranged in parallel. Every veins are arranged parallel with each other. So we can isolate easily with the help of venation. This is monocot plant, this is dicot plant. Easily we can able to identify. Such arrangements of veins are called venation. So the arrangements of veins and veinlets on the leaf blade or lamina is called as venation. Internally, the veins contain vascular tissues. So inside the veins, xylem, phloem, cambium, and all these tissues might be present. Conventionally, venation is classified into two types, namely reticulate venation, parallel venation. Most probably reticulate venations are common in dicot plant. Parallel venation most probably common in monocot plant. First of all, we shall see about reticulate venation. The reticulate venation itself, it is divided into two types. Pinnately reticulate venation, palmately reticulate venation. What is pinnately reticulate venation? See here, look at this picture. This is pinnately reticulate venation. This is palmately reticulate venation. These two are palmately reticulate venation. What is the differences? If you see the first one, in the first leaf is having a single midrib. Only one midrib is present at the center. This is, you might have seen in the ficus. Arasa Marathana Pathina. The second one is called Cucurbita. Almost all Cucurbitaceae family will be having their leaf like this. See here. Here many midribs are there. This is one midrib, this is another midrib, this is third midrib, this is fourth midrib, this is fifth midrib, and so on. So many midribs are present. So more than one midrib, if it is present, these are called palmately reticulate venation. If only one midrib is present, this is called pinnately reticulate venation. Both are having, so here, this is one midrib, this is another midrib, this is third midrib. So there are 3 midribs are there. Here 5 midribs are there. So if the leaf is having more than one midrib, they are called as palmately reticulate venation. If the leaf is having only one midrib, it is called pinnately reticulate venation. The palmately reticulate venation further classified into two types, namely divergent palmately reticulate venation, convergent palmately reticulate venation. What is the difference? Convergent means as many number of veins are formed from the petiole, these are converging at a point, these are joining at a point. If it is converging at a point, these are called convergent. If they are not joining at a point, they are dispersed here and there, then this is called divergent. So, palmately reticulate venation divergent, palmately reticulate venation convergent. So, the details we can see. In reticulate venation type, the venation contains a prominent midrib from which secondary veins arises. Several secondary veins arises that branches and anastomos like a network. This type of venation is common in all dicot leaves. It is further divided into two types as I said just now. Pinnately reticulate venation, palmately reticulate venation. Pinnately reticulate venation usually called as unicostate. That means there is only one midrib. In this type of venation, there is only one midrib in the center which forms many lateral branches to form a network. Example, Mangifera invida, mango plant. The second category is called palmately reticulate venation. It is also called as multicostate. More than one midrib is present. In this type of venation, there are 2 or more principal veins arises from the single point and they proceed to outwards as well as upwards. The 2 types of palmately reticulate venations are present or there. One is divergent, another one is convergent. When all principal veins are originate from a base and diverge from one another towards the margin of the leaf, as is present in Carica papaya. Papaya plant, if you see, this type of venation you can witness. The second type of palmately reticulate venation is convergent reticulate venation. When the veins are converged to the apex of leaf, as in Indian plum, that is ziziphus. Ziziphus means elandai. A bay leaf, cinnamon. These plants are having convergent. Nerium, arali. In nerium plant is also having convergent reticulate, palmately reticulate venation. Next we are going to see about parallel venation. Parallel venation is very common in monocot. How we have seen about reticulate venation is divided into two types, namely pinnately and palmately reticulate venation. Similarly, in monocot plant is also having pinnately parallel venation, palmately parallel venation. If you see in canna or in banana, these are having only one main midrib are present. From this, various veins are being in parallel. All the veinlets are being parallel. This is called as pinnately parallel venation. On the other hand, more number of veins are parallel. These are called as palmately parallel venation. This is further divided into palmately parallel convergent, palmately parallel divergent. So if you see in grass and paddy plant, number of palmately parallel venations are converging at a point. But on the other hand, borassus means palm tree, panema. So if you see the leaves which is possessed divergent, that means so many main midribs are formed, these are dispersed here and there towards the margin. So, how we have seen in reticulate venation, similarly, palmately venation is also further divided into two types, namely pinnately parallel venation, palmately parallel venation. This palmately parallel venation further divided into two types. They are namely palmately parallel convergent, palmately parallel divergent. So, when veins run parallel and do not form a prominent reticulum, it is a characteristic which is of monocot leaves. It is further classified into two types, namely pinnately parallel venation unicostyl, palmately parallel venation multicostyl. When there is a prominent midrib in the center, from which arise many veins perpendicularly and run parallel to each other. In musa means banana, ginger means inji. These are some examples for pinnately parallel venation. Then we can see about palmately parallel venation. So in this type of several veins arises from the tip of the petiole and they all parallel to each other and united at the apex. It is further divided into two types, namely divergent type and convergent type. All principal veins originate from the base and diverge towards the margin. The margin of the leaf as in fan palm, borassus. Borassus means panema. Then convergent. All principal veins run parallel to each other from the base of the lamina and join the apex as in bamboo. Bamboo means mungi. Rice, paddy, water hyacinth, that is iconium. These are all examples for convergent type of palmately parallel venation. Another important biomarker is phyllotaxy. What is meant by phyllotaxy? Arrangements of leaf on the stems in order to get more amount of sunlight. These arrangements are available in plants. These arrangements of leaves are called as phyllotaxy. These arrangements of phyllotaxy further divided into 5 different types, namely basically 4 types. We shall see one by one. This is alternate phyllotaxy. Leaves are arranged alternate with each other in polyalthia. Next one is opposite. The opposite is further, these two are opposite. This opposite further divided into two types. One is opposite superposed. That means leaves are, each and every nodes are having two leaves which are opposite to each other. They are being in the same straight line. All the leaves are straight line in the distinguished manner. So these are called as opposite superposed. In Goa, Paya, Maratala, we can witness in this type of phenotypes. Then opposite decussate. In color trappist, if you see, each and every node's two opposite leaves are there, but they are, one node is right angle to the other node. That means these two leaves are right angle to the other two leaves in opposite direction. These are called opposite and decussate. The third one is ternate in Nerium, Arali, Savarli. These are all very good example. Each and every node possesses three leaves. These are called ternate. The fourth one is called whirl. Example, Alamanda. Each and every nodes are having four or more than four leaves, then they are called as whirl. So the mode of arrangements of leaf on the stem is known as phyllotaxy. In Greek, phylon means leaf, taxis means arrangements. So arrangements of leaves are called phyllotaxy. Phyllotaxy is to avoid overcrowding of the leaves and expose the leaves maximum to the sunlight for photosynthesis. The four main types of phyllotaxis are alternate phyllotaxy, opposite phyllotaxy, ternate phyllotaxy, whirl phyllotaxy. We shall see one by one. In alternate phyllotaxy, there is only one leaf per node, and the leaves on the successive nodes are arranged alternate with each other. The spiral arrangements of leaf shows vertical rows are called orthostitches. They are further divided into two types, namely alternate spiral, alternate disticus. Alternate spiral, in which the leaves are arranged alternatively in spiral manner. If you see in hibiscus and ficus, we can see alternate with spiral. Another type is alternate disticus in opposite pole. Alternate disticus, in which the leaves are organized alternatively in two rows, this side one and another side one, on either side of the stem. Example, Monon longifolium, Polyalthia. Polyalthia means Nedlinga maram, another Asoga maram. Then opposite phyllotaxy. In this types, each node possesses two leaves opposite to each other. They are organized into two different types, namely opposite superposed, opposite decussate. In opposite superposed, the pair of leaves arranged in succession or in the same direction. That is, two opposite leaves at a node lie exactly above those at the lower node. Example, Cedium. Cedium means Goa. Paya. Similarly, Quiscolis, Rangoon's creeper. So another opposite type of phyllotaxy is opposite and decussate. In this type of phyllotaxy, one pair of leaf is placed at a right angle to the next upper or lower pair of leaves. Calotropis means irukku. Osimum, Tulasi. In Tulsi plant, if you see, this opposite decussate we can be able to see. The third category is ternate phyllotaxy. In this type, there are three leaves attached at each node. Example, Neri. The fourth one is whirl, verticillate type of phyllotaxy. In this type, more than three leaves are present in the whirl at each node, forming a circle or whirl-like appendages. Example, Alamanda. Another type is a leaf mosaic. In leaf mosaic, leaves tends to fit in which one another and adjust themselves in such a way that they may be secure maximum amount of light with minimum amount of overlapping. The lower leaves have longer petioles and the successive upper leaves possess shorter petiole in such a manner they can arrange. Acaripa. In Kuppaimeni plant, if you see, they are having this type of arrangements. Next we are going to see leaf type, simple type or compound type. The pattern of division of leaf into discrete component or segment is termed leaf type based on number of segments. If a leaf is having a single leaf, it is called simple leaf. If a axis which is having more number of leaflets forming a group of leaf, this is called compound leaf. We shall see one by one. If you say simple leaf, a leaf is said to be a simple when the petiole bears a single lamina. The lamina may be entire or it may be undivided. Entire means undivided. Example, mango. Insists to any depth but not up to midrib or petiole. Example, Cucurbita. Then if you see compound leaf is one in which the main branch bears more than one lamina surface called leaflets. Compound leaves have evolved to increase total lamina surface. There is only one auxiliary burst in the axil of the world, the whole compound leaf. The leaflets, however, do not possess auxiliary bursts. Do not possess any auxiliary bursts. See here, look at the picture. These are all called as compound leaf. This one, see, understand the different types of leaves. These are pinnately compound leaf. Look at the tip. It is having even number. That means 2 leaves at the tip. Here only 1 leaf at the tip. A compound leaf which is having a single rachis, which is having lot of small leaflets. It is end with 2 leaves are called unipinnate. Both are unipinnate, but it is peripinnate. This is imparipinnate. If it is having end with only 1 leaf, it is imparipinnate, unipinnate. If it is having 2 leaves, it is peripinnate, unipinnate. If you see Tamarind plant, which is having this peripinnate. If you say neem plant, Azadirachta indica, these are having imperipinnate. Then another group of leaves, see here, look at this picture. Caesalpinia pulcherrima, flame of the forest. So it is having a primary rachis. These primary rachis are having further branches. These branches are having veins. From these leaflets are arising. So this is another type of compound leaf. This is called as bipinnate compound leaf. These are unipinnate compound leaf. These are called as bipinnate compound leaf. Apart from this third type of leaves, compound leaf is tripinnate. This is one main branches. It is further divided. This is further divided. So it is divided thrice. These are called as tripinnate. Decomposed leaf. So this type, the tripinnate compound leaves might be available in moringa. The fifth one is called as decompound leaf. In coriander. Coriander means Kottamalli. So these are having multiple branches. So these are a very good example for decomposed. Now we shall see one by one. A pinnately compound leaf is defined as one in which the rachis means the main midrib. The rachis bears laterally a number of leaflets arranged alternately or in opposite manner. Either in alternate manner or in opposite manner. See here, in every node there are 2 leaflets are there. So this is opposite. Here also opposite only. It may be either opposite or alternate. It may be. So they bears the lateral number of leaflets arranged either alternately or in opposite manner, as in tamarinds and cassia. Unipinning. The rachis is simple and unbranched. The rachis is simple. There is no branch. The rachis is simple and unbranched, which bears leaflets directly on its side in alternate or opposite manner. Example, rose plant, neem plant. The unipinnate leaves are two types, namely, when the leaflets are even number. This is even number, tamarinds. So these are called as peripinnate in tamarinds. On the other hand, if it is producing odd number, only one, then this is called as imperipinnate in Azadiacta, neem plant. When the leaflets are odd in number, the leaves is said to be imperipinnate in neem plant. Bipinnate. The primary rachis produces secondary rachis. Then the secondary rachis bears leaflets. The primary rachis will not have any leaflets. The primary rachis further divided into secondary rachis. These secondary rachis are having full of leaflets. The secondary rachis is known as pinning. The number of pinnings varies depending upon the species. Example, Deinonyx. Then tripinnate. When the rachis branches thrice, the leaf is called tripinnate. The second rachis produces the tertiary rachis, which bears the leaflets. Example, moringa, muringa. Then decompound leaf. When the rachis of leaf is branched as many number of several times is possible, it is called as decompound leaves. Example, Daucus carota, carrot, Coriander sativa, kotamali. Next we are going to see about palmately compound leaf. A palmately compound leaf is defined as one in which the petiole bears terminally one or more leaflets which seems to be radiating from a common main point like finger like appearance from the palm. See here, these are all palmately compound. Once again, the palmately compound leaves are further divided into various types. They are unifoliate. That means a single leaflet is articulated with the petiole is said to be unifoliate. A single leaf. So this petiole is having single leaf. So these are called as unifoliate. In citrus, citrus means lemon, orange, these are all comes under this category. Then bifoliate leaf. In bifoliate leaf, there are two leaflets articulated to the petiole. Each and every petiole is having two leaves. These are called as bifoliate. Zonia diphylla is a very good example. Then trifoliate leaf. Agel marmoras in Vilvum. Mostly in Sivalayam, we can able to see this Agel marmoras, Vilvum maram. There are three leaflets are articulated to the petiole. It is said to be trifoliate leaf. Wood apple, that is Vilvum. Then quadrifoliate leaf. That means four leaves are arises from the petiole. There are four leaflets articulated to the petiole. It is said to be quadrifoliated leaf. These are multifoliate or vegetate leaf.